Oh, good timing on the coffee. Well, happy Monday, everybody. It is Thanksgiving Monday here in Canada. It is our holiday, and we thought, well, we're pretty grateful and thankful for all of you, so we thought we'd spend it with you guys. I think today I'm actually going to get the sweater finished. So I have one more cuff. I went ahead and just finished off one cuff so that I kind of had an idea of what I was doing. I made my little bee. So the bee part of the booby Cardi is now done. This is the little guy we made in a tutorial, kind of a vlogish sort of tutorial 9 years ago. I can almost not believe how long ago that was. So I've got him ready. I've got my buttons ready to sew on. I've got 3 of my little ghosty appliques. And I've got my yarn. I think I'm good to go. Mr. InStitches just put on a pot of coffee and it just beeped. So I might have to get a cup of coffee quickly. But you know what? Maybe before I do that, we'll start right into the cuff. So I'm just going to put all of this little odds and sods aside. We're going to decide where to put all of the appliques in a little while. Oh, I also have this one extra square. And I was sort of musing on a previous live stream about doing an inside pocket. I think I might do that. So I'll look at doing that a little later on in today's live stream. And I'll put these guys aside. I'm going to do the other cuff. So I want to get all the crochet finished and done with. I've got the whole sweater is put together. All of the trim is on. The only thing left to do is the other cuff. I'll show you what I did. I didn't want it to be, I was thinking about making it smaller, but I tried it on the other day and I realized that that actually is kind of a nice size around my wrist. So I didn't make it any smaller. I did 1 row of the shell stitch and then a row of half double crochet. Nice and simple. So that's all I'm going to do. We've got a membership milestone from Jessica Rabbit already. Hi, Ms. Rabbit. She's a member for 22 months. Thank you so much. It's Thanksgiving Monday. Every Monday now that we have a live on Monday. I like that. Yes, every Monday is a Thanksgiving Monday. Actually, that's just a good sort of mindset to be in, right? Make gratitude your attitude. I love that. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to get right into it. And while I'm kind of getting my yarn together, I'm going to start with a standing double crochet. I don't usually like these because I feel like I have trouble keeping them nice and tight. But if I hold on to those the little short tail, I managed to keep it a little tighter. So I'm going to do that just because I find it easier to weave in the little tail when I crochet over top of it in the second row. Uncle Steve, another membership milestone, a member for 33 months. Thank you, Uncle Steve. Happy Thanksgiving. And happy Thanksgiving to all the Canadian friends out there. I know the Americans have, I guess, another month, a little more than a month and a half, month and a week or so, maybe 5 weeks before yours shows up. Which reminds me, we're having a little Thanksgiving sale in our Etsy shop yesterday and today. So the sale ends today in our shop. It's 15% off the entire shop. So if you wanted to pick something up, you can save 15%. And I feel it also necessary to mention that Etsy separately is doing a support small business thing this week. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this week. So today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, anywhere, any shop you purchase in, if you spend $40 or more, they're giving you $10 off your purchase. So Etsy is doing that separately from us, which is pretty great. And that's a deal open to people in the US, Canada, the UK, and Germany, apparently. I think we put a little post up about that earlier, but I thought I'd mention it just to make sure if you missed that post, you heard about it. So I'm going to start with a standing double crochet. I feel like that was too tight. Let's try that again. Diane! Hello, Diane! Diane's been a member for 30 months. Thank you, Diane, with a membership milestone. She says, hello, Jayda and Mr. InStitches. Thank you for all you do for us crocheters. Well, thank you for being here. It is a very nice day today, and I'm very happy to spend it with you guys crocheting. I'm really eager to get this sweater done.
Coffee time.
Oh, coffee time. Do you want me to come get it, or are you going to pour it for me? Actually, I need some cream. I'll just give you my mug.
How well do you tip? Do you tip well?
Yeah, it's called banana cake. Mm-hmm. Thank you. I looked at possibly closing in the edge of this sleeve, and so before I settled on just going with the usual shell chain one stitch, I tried it doing 3 double crochet and skipping the chain one and then doing 3 double crochet into the next thing, but it actually made it too small, so I don't actually want a tight cuff. I wanted it to be pretty much the same size because I don't really feel like that's too small. And I thought I'd like to be able to roll it up if I want to, so that's what I'm doing. But I did try that. So if you are thinking about closing in your cuff and you're going to add another row of that granny shell stitch, you might try just leaving out the chain ones in between your shells if you wanted to close it in a little bit, because that's a nice way to sort of cinch things down. So I'm going to do 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, chain 1 all the way around. And I'm going to do that 3 double crochet in the edge of the seam like I've been doing for all the other joins, just so to keep that consistency going. And I'm, ooh, goody goody goody, coffee.
Where do you want
it? Just hand it to me, I'll take it. Ooh, that looks good. Thank you very much. Yum. Cheers everybody, a nice cozy cuppa. Ooh, that's hot and strong, just the way I like it. Thank you, mister. Okay. So 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, chain 1. Melissa! Melissa has been a member for 4 months. Thank you, Melissa. Melissa with a membership milestone. She says, hey everyone, doing a drive-by wave. I'm headed to an appointment in a few minutes. Thank you, Jayda and Mister, for everything you do. Lots of love. Well, good luck with your appointment. I hope it's doesn't take too much time out of your day. I like to have things to do, but I don't like any of those things I have to do to take very long. 3 double crochet, chain 1.
We have a membership milestone from Melissa.
Got it.
Oh, okay.
Mister is so busy with
I'm
his
delayed.
tasty cup of coffee and his piece of cake.
It's the banana cake.
Banana
got
cake.
me confused.
So I'm trying to just kind of crochet around the sleeve without twisting the whole sweater around, because I don't want to have to keep moving it around. It's getting too big to do that, so I'm gonna work over top of that. I've got all these little tails to weave in, but I'm gonna do that later. I was weaving in a few actually before we got going today. So just 1 row of granny shell stitch around the edge of the cuff. I felt like the sleeves were a pretty decent length on me when I tried it on the other day, and I just wanted to finish off the cuffs in a nice way. So 3 double crochet, chain 1. I started with a standing double crochet, so I'm going to join with a slip stitch there, and I'm going to chain 1 and half double crochet in the same stitch and half double crochet in every single stitch and space all the way around. That's going to be my finishing row for the cuff edge, and that'll be all the crochet complete for this little cardigan. And then we'll start adding the little extras on. Nico! Nico has just gifted a membership. Thank you so much, Nico. Nico is back. Nico saw the poll we did about where she might have been from last live stream. Linda has won it. Congratulations, Linda. And Anne with a membership milestone. Anne has been a member for 38 months. Thank you, Anne. Anne says, it has been so long since I have made a live stream. So grateful to make this one. Happy Thanksgiving. Well, that's appropriate. Thank you so much. We're glad you could make it too. I can't imagine a nicer way to spend the day. I've got some soup on the stove. Gonna have a nice bowl of soup. I made banana cake yesterday. I had some bananas to use up, so I made 2. I made 1 with chocolate chips and 1 without. That's a good poll, Mr. InStitches. Do you like your banana cake with chocolate chips or without?
Ooh, that is a good poll. All right, coming up.
I can tell you're on your way back for another slice. So half double crochet in every single stitch and space all the way around. This is just it's the same way I finished off the trim for the rest of this cardigan. So I like that my cuffs match. I'm just turning things here so I don't have to turn and spin the entire sweater. I like that my finishing of the cuffs matches the rest of the sweater. It's a nice sort of cohesive look. I went with the purple instead of adding in any more additional color. I felt like there was just enough going on already with this granny squares and the stripes of orange and black. So I will snip that. That is it for the crochet. So the crocheting part of this sweater is done. I'm going to start weaving in tails now. I'll probably finish weaving in all the tails later. That's kind of boring work. I was weaving some in before the live stream. So I just want to get them all kind of in, but it's not super exciting. So I'm going to do that later, but I will get that one all put in there. Okay, so cuffs are now done. I like that. Sort of the cross stitch stitching ends, and then there's some crochet to kind of end things off. Everything has a nice even edging to it now. So my cuffs are both the same. They match the trim of the inside of my sweater. I think I'm going to put on the buttons next because that is the next thing that doesn't require as much thinking. There's the Aunt of Angels with a membership milestone. Aunt of Angels has been a member for 4 months. Thank you. And she says, wishing all Canadians a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you very much. Our Thanksgiving is very much tied into the harvest here. And obviously, I know Americans sometimes think we have it rather early, but that's because our food comes out of the ground, I think, in a lot of places much earlier than a lot of the harvest does down south of the border. It's pretty quiet out there now, but we could hear the big potato trucks kind of pulling the last piles of potatoes out of the field a couple days ago. I think that was the last, at least around here. I think some of the pumpkins are still sitting in the fields, but we're at a point where you can go and just like pick your own pumpkins now, so you might be kind of just cutting them out of the fields, but everything's ready to be harvested. I do have a couple of tomatoes left in the garden that I'm waiting to see if they'll redden up a little bit, but I don't know, I might be holding out hope there. Oh, that's a nice cup of coffee. Woohoo! All right. Time for my buttons. So as you know, I made 3 candy corn tiny treat amigurumis from our tiny treat pattern. And I'm going to use these as the buttons. Deanna made me think of this. She said, wouldn't candy corn buttons be cute? And I thought, I can make those. So I'm going to line up. I've got buttonholes here. So I want to make sure that I am putting my buttons in the right place. And I'm pretty sure I did it so that I was marking the button locations off the middle shell of the granny squares, the 3 granny squares that run up and down the front of my sweater. So I think if I attach this one here, that should be pretty much right. I've got a lot of play with these buttonholes because they're really large, but these are pretty big buttons. So I'm pretty sure that my sweater will hang straight if I have it buttoned up. So I'm going to start with the middle one. I think that's that one, and that is Question is, am I going to sew it? So I do this a lot when I'm sewing. If I'm putting buttons on, I line up my edges 3 or 4 times before I finally sew my buttons into place, because I really don't want them to be, yeah, that looks about right. So that looks right. So if I flip this back, this one is about here. So these are spaces they wind up on. All right, well, that's fine. I can work with that. Okay, so now I'm going to sew these on. I'm going to use my wool needle. I think I'm going to use some of my orange. No, I'm going to use purple. That way it will blend into the inside edge of my cardigan. So if my cardigan flaps open, you won't be alarmed by very obvious button stitching. So I'm going to use purple. So just sewing on a button like I normally would, I will snip myself a length of yarn. I'll start down here at the bottom. So I know that this is in the right place. And it looks like I'm doing it, double checking. Yeah, okay. So the center ends up being a bit of a space, so I'm going to kind of work around that. I might the center of my button is going to be like the middle back of my, let me get this a little more on screen here. The center back of my button, I'm kind of looking at like the middle of the orange section, kind of like the row before it turns to yellow. And one last double check. If that sits even at the bottom and that's the middle, then the middle is the orange. So I'm going to anchor my yarn next to this hole, because for some reason it's the hole is what ends up being the center. That's not a big deal. I'm going to anchor the yarn at the bottom edge of a shell. I'm going to leave a little tail at the back for like making a knot. And then I'm just going to sew right through. So I'm going to pass my needle underneath maybe 2. So because with a typical button, you either have a shank at the back that you would sew through that little kind of like hole in the back, or you've got holes that run right through the middle of the button. I'm just kind of creating a shank. I'm going to use these 2 stitches and I'm just going to sew around it. And I'm not going to sew very tightly. I want there to be a bit of play so that this isn't difficult to move. But I'm going to sew on either side of this space. So I'm not sewing tightly. And I'm going to come back up and through the bottoms of these stitches. I'm going to do my best to sew through the same places over and over again, just like I was sewing on an actual button. And I'm going to go through those same place on the back of the button over and over and over again. And Ron and Kathy are in the house. Hello, family. Ron and Kathy with a very generous super chat. Thank you so much. Good morning, Jayda and Mr. InStitches. Happiest Thanksgiving. Oh, goodness. And thank you, Maureen, while I'm at it. Happiest Thanksgiving. Enjoy your soup. Thank you. Glad Ron and I can share this holiday with you. We are grateful for your sweet personalities. Enjoy your day. Love you, Kathy and Ron. Thank you guys so much. It is a lovely way to spend a Thanksgiving, I must say. We'll have to do this again for the American Thanksgiving. I know you guys are probably just as busy as we are. We did our big sort of family get together on Friday. So that was nice. We have it sort of done and we can eat food all weekend. Maureen just picked up a pattern in her Etsy shop. Thank you very much, Maureen. Okay, I've gone through this 3 times. I'm thinking I might do it 4. So I'm going through the same place over and over and over again. I cut way more yarn than I need, but that's fine. I will use the rest of it on the next button. So I've gone, oh my goodness. Barbara, thank you so much for picking up a pattern at our Etsy shop. I am going to now tie these 2 ends together. I will trim it and I will weave in the tails later, but I think going with purple was a good idea because you won't see this. So I'm just going to use that somewhere else. If I weave this in, then the actual sewing on of the button becomes pretty much invisible. Very good, very good, very good. All right, yeah, I'll finish weaving in that later. This has enough play to it that, let's see here. All right, button number 1 is on. And that has a lot of movement underneath it, so it shouldn't find itself being pulled up or pulled down. Yeah. All right. Oh my gosh, that's cute. I love how that purple trim frames the button. That looks really good. Okay. Whee! Next. So this one was this hole, I think. So if that is this one, then double check. That is the very middle, which puts it, oh, kind of on top of, this is sort of the middle. All right, that's not a big deal. I will use that shell. I might have, I got enough yarn here. It's a smaller amount, but I'm going to come up. I'm going to use the actual stitches of this middle shell right here, and I'm going to do the same thing. So let's see. I'm going to go with the middle 2 back stitches. Lucy with a membership milestone. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a gifted membership. Goodness me, thank you so much, Lucy. Lucy has gifted a membership, and Danny Mom has won it. Congratulations. Actually, you know what? Let me try that again. I'm going to have to come at this sideways. So I'm going to use these 2 stitches. And then I'm going to have to, so there we go. I'll put you down here. And now I've got to go the opposite way through those 2. There we go. All right. So I'll keep that out, and I'm not sure that I'm going to have this buttoned up all that often. The buttons might be more kind of a decorative thing. I'm not sure. I'll see. Sometimes I like a cardigan just to sort of hang open, and other times I like to actually have it buttoned up, especially if it's sort of chilly. And I think one more ought to do it. All right, so I'm going to bring both tails to the back. I'm actually going to secure one of the tails through a stitch on the back here, just so I'm not kind of creating a knot in the thin air of a space, and I will weave that in later. So that's button number 2 on. All right, and let's just do these both up. So far, so good. Good, good, good. Golly gee. Sharitha. I hope I'm saying that right. Thank you so much for picking up a pattern in our shop. We really appreciate it. We are having a little sale, so if you just got here, we are having a little Thanksgiving sale over in our shop. Also, the Etsy platform in general is having a deal for anybody in the US, Canada, the UK, and Germany. If you buy $40 or more, or if you spend $40 or more in any shop on Etsy, you'll get $10 back, which is kind of nice. $10 off your order. So that's cool. Etsy's really trying to help support small business, and we really appreciate them for that. Oh, coffee is nice. All right. I want to make sure this is all evenly lined up, and then that's probably.
I'm going to send the recent poll your way.
Okay. That's my middle. I'm going to mark it with my needle. Banana cake and chocolate chips, 45%. Walnuts, 35%. Plain, 9%. Other. Leave a comment in the chat. 9%. I saw somebody mentioned berries, adding berries in with the bananas. I think that would be interesting. That would make me feel like it might be on the a little more tart side. I guess probably because my brain immediately goes to cranberries. I think of banana bread and cranberries. I've done that before. Banana bread with blueberries might be nice. So 45% of you would pick the chocolate chips. Well, you're I guess I'm in the majority this time. Mister, did you what would you choose? Chocolate chips? Would you choose plain?
I would say plain.
Yeah, you like it plain.
Yeah, I like I like all those options, to be honest. I've had the chocolate chips, I've had the walnuts, I've had the odd berry, but I think when it comes to banana bread, just plain old banana bread.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
All right. So I'm just getting button number 3 on. And I'm making sure that I'm always going through the same little place on the back of the button and the same stitch or loops of a stitch on the actual sweater, and that'll just keep it sort of acting like an actual button. And I'll do this like 4 times, probably 3 or 4 times, just so I know that it's really on there and it's not going to go anywhere. Oh my goodness gracious. Marie! Marie, thank you so much for picking up some patterns. Marie's picked up 6 patterns at our shop, making use of that sale. Thank you so much. It helps out tremendously around here. Okay, I am going to anchor that stitch on the back. So I'm going to take that piece of yarn, just wind it through a stitch. I'm always looking for opportunities when I'm doing this kind of work to anchor a stitch, make sure something feels strong and secure. And it's another good reason to go with the matching purple yarn, because I can make the stitches more secure by maybe weaving them into a stitch or underneath some stitches, and it will blend in, but I'll know that it's not going to want to come off. So that's great. I will weave those tails in later. And there are my buttons all sewn on. Whee! Oh my gosh, that's cute. Ah, that's fun. I love the opportunity I love themes. I love making clothing that's almost quasi-costume, costumey, because it's just a little bit over the top. For things like Halloween and Christmas and kind of festivities, you can kind of make something themed that's just a little over the top. I think that's part of the fun of making themed clothing, because it's clearer that I'm sort of got the Halloween spirit going on here, but you can do something like have these great big silly crocheted candy corn buttons. And rather than it looking a little too over the top, it actually looks kind of like it works, People are going to say, oh, that's really cute, as opposed to, what is wrong with that person? Why does she have giant crocheted candy corn buttons on her sweater? Oh, really enjoying that coffee, mister. Okay.
I aim to please with my coffee blending.
You do aim to please.
Membership gift.
Membership gift, Nico! Nico, thank you so much. Nico has gifted another membership, and Robin Black has won it. Congratulations, Robin. Welcome to the family. I've got 3 little ghosty appliques. Now, I would like to know where I should be putting these. So I'm already thinking I might put my little bee, since my little bee is a 3-dimensional guy. I was thinking I might put the bee right up here on my shoulder, so that when I've got the sweater on, it sits up on my shoulder, because I think that's really, really cute. So I think maybe I'll just sew the bee on right across the top of the shoulder, because I know where he's going, and that was going to be my left shoulder, and that is my left shoulder. Even though it's on the right side of the screen, it's my left shoulder. In the meantime, if you guys can leave some comments in the chat and suggest where you think I should be putting these ghosties on, and if 3's enough. I could also make a few more if I have to. In the meantime, I'm going to sew my little bee to my shoulder so that he sits up there on my shoulder. And I'm going to do that sort of the same way I just did the candy corn. So I'm going to sew underneath the body of my bee, and I'm going to sew it to the top edge of my seam, probably right through the seam. I'm going to use purple again. And if I already lost, there it is. Don't want to lose that. So let's snip ourselves a little length of purple yarn. Lucy says, near the bottom and leave the tops open and use them as little pockets. That's kind of a cute idea. I like that. Little tiny pockets.
You can stash all your little Halloween candies in there.
Yeah, you could have like a little candy in there. You could be pulling out candies the whole time. That's a cute idea. One on each pocket and one is a lapel pin. Oh, that's cute. I don't have the only pocket I think I'm going to have is this guy, and I think he's going to be inside, but we're not sure of that yet. So I was just trying to use up all my granny squares, but a pocket's a cute idea. Where the pockets would be. So, okay, so I'm getting ghost on the front right shoulder, like where a badge would be. Oh, Cinnamon, that's a good idea. Like up here. Kind of like, you know, if I was a sheriff, but only for a ghost town. That's funny. I like that. Okay, so let me do this little guy. First, Mr. InStitches, if you could keep an eye on the chat if I can't see all the good suggestions.
Okay, there's a lot of good suggestions here.
Of course.
A lot of people are saying they love the idea of the bee on the shoulder, so that's a winner.
All right, so I'm going to sew...
It's like he's whispering in your ear.
Yeah, he's got little things to say. Yeah, buzz, buzz.
You have to understand bee buzz, though.
Got to understand buzz. I think... Is that too close?
Ghosts in the purple part of the sleeve.
Maybe right there would be better. Yes, I thought that would be good too.
Maybe a ghost on the upper, right upper.
Because there's all this purple here.
Sheriff Jayda of Ghost Town. I like that. That can be your Halloween costume this year.
The Sheriff of a Ghost Town. I love it. I love it. Of course, now I'm going to have to actually design a specific badge for that because that's just too cool. Now, I want you to look like... I don't want you to rock back and forth too much, so... Maybe I will anchor you in 2 places. That makes sense. So I'm going to anchor... That little
bee is going to need extra anchorage.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to anchor the bee in 2 places.
I think the bee needs a costume.
The bee's already in his little costume.
The bee needs a costume. The bee also needs to be dressed for Halloween. Maybe a wizard hat or something.
That's cute. Okay. Pardon my fiddling around here, guys. I got to find where did that yarn go? There it is. Oh my goodness gracious. Dizzy! Dizzy, thank you. Dizzy's picked up a pattern in our Etsy shop. Much appreciated. I think I'm going to go through a couple of locations on the bottom of my bee. So one on one side, on like say one side of a stitch and another stitch on the other, just to kind of make him a little less wobbly and a little more secure.
How about a parrot costume for the bee?
A parrot costume for the bee.
We're getting bee costume ideas, like a pumpkin hat, a witch hat.
That is so cute.
I think the bee in a parrot costume would be awesome.
Yeah, I like that. All right, I have got to reposition this a little bit just so I can. Sorry, guys, if this is getting too close.
How about the bee is the sheriff? You can put a sheriff costume on the bee.
A little tiny like star badge. All right. So let's go through here and then so. Are you going to wobble much? I guess it doesn't matter if you wobble a little bit. All right, let's... So I'm trying to stitch this to the top of the shoulder. So if it looks a little funny, that's why, but hopefully this will be a nice firm attachment I'm trying to keep it nice and tight. I made him kind of on the squishy side so that if I have to like put a jacket on or something, he'll kind of flatten down a little bit, but I can kind of poof him back up a little. I can poof him back up and make him look three-dimensional again. Angela wants to know, what's the bee's name? That's a good question. I don't think we've named the bee. One more through this little side, and I think that'll be it.
How about we run those little wires and lights through the bee and we make his little wings light up?
That would be cute. I have some of those. I don't know where. Oh, and actually I do know.
The little bee and the ghosts and the candy corn all light up.
Okay, so I'm going to anchor my 2 yarns underneath some stitches on the inside of my sweater, and then I will knot them together. All right. Byron the Bee from Cheryl. I like that. Deputy Beatrice B from Kathy. Bee Stitches. Oh, that's appropriate from Kyra. Boo Bee. The bee is actually named Boo. from Claire. I like that. Phoebe the Bee. Or would that be Phoebe? Phoebe the Bee. Oh, that's a good one, Kathy.
Phoebe the Bee. Booby.
Booby.
The bee is named Boo.
I kind of like
the boos are named bees.
Wobble Bumblebee. Yeah, I like that too. Bee.
How about bee's
Phoebe.
knees?
I like Phoebe because bee's in the name. I think that's cute.
Phoebe.
Phoebe. Phoebe. Phoebe. Okay, so there's my little mascot. My sweater has a mascot. So she is going to sit up top on my sweater. And when I have the sweater on and I have the actual collar turned down, it's going to look like this. That's very nice. So straighten the collar out. Get all the little fluffs off. So there's my collar. My little bee is going to sit up on top of my shoulder, keeping an eye on things. That's really darn cute. Okay, time for the little ghosties. So there's a lot going on here. I think there should be at least one ghost on the back. So let's decide on the back placement first. The back is so much fun with all of these granny squares, but it definitely needs a bee. So on the back, I like the idea of having one maybe down at the bottom corner. Hang on, let's see here. So just so you know, we've got 9 squares on the back. This is the left side. The bee sitting up top here. So I think to balance it, the boo might be somewhere in this area.
We have a super sticker from Belle.
Hi, Belle. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Here. Belle is here. Thank you. All right, so maybe like somewhere down here or across, like covering some of the stitching. I think the middle is a little too, I like things to be a little asymmetrical. I love asymmetrical stuff. So what do you guys think? On a granny square, covering some stitching, sort of maybe like hanging out down in the bottom corner, like the bottom of the sweater around the cuff area or the trim. What's everybody think? While I sip my coffee. I got bottom right from Kyra. We've got staggering them to look like they're floating up the back. Oh, Maria, that's a fun idea. Yes, on the back like it's sneaking on you, says Shell. Covering some stitching. Yeah, I like that. Covering some stitches on the diagonal. Okay, so that's actually kind of a cute idea to have the ghosts all on the back because there's a lot going on the front. So you don't expect anything to be happening on the back. And it's kind of a neat idea to maybe have them, you know, up the back. That would be kind of fun. Or dancing along the bottom edge. That would be kind of cute. Gee. Decisions, decisions, decisions. I like the contrast on the purple too. It's like the more that's on the purple, Ignore their little strings. That's what I'm going to be sewing them on with, but floating up the back, covering a little bit of the stitching. Kind of floating up the back right side. Floating up one sleeve. I mean, because the back's kind of busy. Maybe if they were going up one sleeve. I knew this would be the hardest part, trying to decide where to put the ghosties.
There's so many options. I mean, the sleeve would be good. The lower part of the back side, because when you're wearing it, you'll be able to see that one on the.
Nico says, "Okay, but you have to make that sound all the time."
Yeah, that's the only sound you can make all night.
Yes.
Oh boy, back and front, back only. Too many decisions.
Yeah, I like the sleeve idea too, guys. I knew this would be. See, it looks cute going up staggered up the stitching. I like it staggered up the stitching. But the back is really busy, and frankly, I like the way the back looks. So I like the idea of them all kind of like hovering around the bottom of the sweater, because that's cute. So when you turn around, you've got little boos, little ghosts. I like the idea of them kind of floating around. Let's take a look at what it looked like on a sleeve. So I'm going to use the right sleeve because the left sleeve has Phoebe the bee on it. So this is the shoulder. So this would be the top edge of the sleeve.
How about you have a sneaky one inside? So you can be like, hey, you know, you want to
buy a ghost?
Watch, but it's a ghost instead of a watch.
Want to buy a watch?
Want to
buy a ghost?
You want to buy a ghost applique? I have to tear it off because it's actually sewn to the sweater.
My little ties are getting tangled with each other. There we go. Okay, so this is kind of what it would look like if I had them sort of floating up the sleeve. So it's kind of tricky to see. I can kind of straighten out the sleeve, and you've got the idea of like there being one on the cuff, kind of covering some of that stitching in between the sort of the pretty granny, shell stitches, the colored granny shell stitch of the granny squares. So like that would be basically one on the cuff. And then the next one would be kind of floating its way up on another angle just above that stripe of color. And then the other one would be getting close to the top, up close to the top of the shoulder. So they'd all be kind of floating their way up the sleeve. So options are floating their way up the right sleeve, which I think would be cute, right across the top of the sleeve. Floating along the back bottom of the sweater. Floating up the right side back of the sweater. And I think
But just so we're clear, they're always floating, right?
They're always floating.
They're always floating in that like snaky motion you keep making?
Well, I guess so. I guess
if we go to a Halloween party and you're asking for a drink, you have to always do that with that motion.
This is getting really confusing.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so
should we do a poll?
Yeah, let's do a poll.
All right,
so assuming that the three ghosts are going to hang out together because these guys are friends, do we do the ghosts up the sleeve, across the bottom back, or up the back right side? I think those are the best options.
Okay, you need to repeat that. So Along the sleeve.
So up the sleeve would be the right sleeve. Along the bottom back of the sweater, like the bottom of along the kind of the cuff, or up the back right side, covering the stitching. Tracy has a super sticker and a super chat. Thank you so much, Tracy. She says, I finished my scrap blanket and I'm now starting Christmas gifts. Awesome! Way to be ahead of the game. I don't have any Christmas gifts started yet. I have some ideas. I think that counts. So, can you read back the poll to me?
Okay, so I've got up the sleeve.
Yep, up the sleeve.
Along bottom back.
Yep, along the bottom back, at the bottom here.
Up the back right side.
Or up the back right side.
Covering stitching.
Yeah.
I can't fit all those words.
Okay,
but
well
I'm
just
try
assume
and shorten it up a bit.
Assume that it would be kind of like up the back, weaving in and out of the stitching.
Yeah. And a big thank you to Kimberly.
Kimberly with a super sticker. Thank you so much, Kimberly. Kimberly's offering me a cup of coffee. I accept. Thank you, Kimberly. Cheers.
Oh, you're getting low there. We have more if you want it.
Is there more?
Oh, is there more?
I'll have more.
You're talking to the coffee goblin here.
It's the coffee goblin. Am I going to call you that? It's Thanksgiving, so an extra cup of coffee I don't think would go amiss.
All right.
I've got my pumpkins sitting on my desk, and I just looked at this and thought, I wonder if there's a way I could fit this gigantic pumpkin onto it somehow. But maybe that would just be overkill. I don't know. Or, maybe this one.
Okay, so the poll's up.
Great, thank you.
The poll is up, and hopefully I got it right, and I'm going to get you some more coffee, and then I expect a very large tip.
A very large tip. All right.
On top of the banana bread.
All right, so we'll get that. The poll's up and running, so if you guys want to take a moment and vote. Oh my goodness, Justine, thank you so much for picking up 4 patterns at our Etsy shop. And you can take my mug. Thank you, sweetie. Thank you so much, Justine. Much appreciated. We'll wait until we have a good, over 100 votes, let's say, on that poll. And then I will start stitching on the ghosties, depending on where you guys think they should go. Honestly, I think all of those ideas are really cute. Up the back, along the bottom. Up the sleeve. I kind of like the idea of the sleeve because there's a lot of purple over here, so they would really stand out. But I also like the idea of them being kind of dancing along the bottom back of the sweater because that provides a little bit of a sort of a surprise, a bit of interest, kind of a giggle when you turn around, because you think when you're coming at someone, they go, oh my gosh, look at that. There's that's a very busy sweater. Oh, look at the candy corn buttons. That's so cute. Is that a bee on her sweater? Okay, whatever. And then you turn around and you see the ghosts, and it's like this cute little, bye kind of a thing. So I don't know. I'm trying to decide. There's also a lot more purple at the bottom, so they stand out down here nicely too. But then this is kind of cute as well. Them all kind of floating up the back. I like it. Deanna! Deanna has a super chat. Thank you so much, Deanna. It's her first super on a live stream. Deanna says, I finished the Mighty Mile a Minute baby blanket. Yay! All tails sewn in 15 minutes. Good timer suggestion to Jayda. Thanks. Didn't I say, oh, thank you, sweetie. I will.
Let everyone see your full cup.
Yes, full cup. Thank you. It's not spilling all over the sweater. Very nice. Yes, Deanna and I had a little chat about how annoying weaving in tails is. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to weave in all my tails later. But one of the things I like to do when I have a kind of an annoying thing, like, okay, I've got to join granny squares together. Boring. Or, oh, I've got to weave in a bunch of tails. Boring. It's the part of the project that I least look forward to. I set a timer. So I put the timer, I put my phone down, I set the timer for 5 minutes, and I see how many tails I can weave in 5 minutes before the buzzer goes, or whatever the thing is, how many squares I need to join together, how many stitches I need to make. And then I do it again, and I try to beat my score. So I basically turn it into a game, and then before you know it, it's all done. And look at that. It took Deanna only 15 minutes to weave in all of her tails. That's awesome. What's 15 minutes? Fantastic. Love it. This is so fun. Okay, well, we're going to let the poll run. Mr. InStitches, if you want to make sure that the poll gets at least over 100 votes. And then I will go start stitching in the ghosts wherever everybody thinks they should go. I really love how this turned out. I'm just sort of, I never look at the back of this sweater.
Let's see here.
I'm just kind of enjoying how this looks.
We have 96 votes at the moment.
Okay, a few more
so we'll
votes.
get over 100 at least.
Yep, over 100 at least.
Give it a few more minutes.
I think I'm just gonna make myself a little bit more space. So I'm gonna get my big things out of the way. Oh, and that reminds me.
Calling all lurkers. All lurkers, please come to the voting table and
please
cast
come to
your
the voting
vote.
table. I just want to mention that we've got some new Fair Isle style squares or graphs and patterns available in our Etsy shop. We've made a cat. This is also going to be the pattern perk for the Silk and Vicuña members this month. That is going to be up on the website probably later today. So we'll also post about that in case you kind of missed the announcement during the live stream, but we kind of showed that one off yesterday. That's going to be, this is in the shop. We also have a members pattern for Silk and Vicuña coming. So that's a little cat, and it also says how to kind of change the colors if you want to for the eyes. I think that's really cute. We've also got a pumpkin and a jack-o'-lantern. So this is part of the same pattern. It's the pumpkin, the same pattern also tells you how to kind of turn it into a jack-o'-lantern if you wanted to add a little bit more Halloween to it, or if you just want to be kind of more Thanksgiving-y. I love pumpkins. I mean, I think I do something pumpkin-y every year. I just love them. They're one of my favorite things. Of course, we've got the new Fair Isle leaf up. That is this actual month's official pattern. It's the Fair Isle style leaf. This sort of leaf shape is very popular in Fair Isle knitting and classic knitting. So we were really excited. We wanted to bring a leaf into it, and we thought it would probably be a good month to do it, which would be October. We also have another leaf. This is our maple leaf. We released this back in July for the Canada's birthday, July 1st. But it also looks pretty appropriate for the fall. So a bunch of colors. Steve actually just sent me a picture at the Etsy shop. We'll probably be putting that up, maybe not this week, but maybe as we lead into November. But Steve did a really cool version of like a wall hanging using the leaf pattern, the October leaf pattern, and it's 3 different colors of leaves, but like sitting vertically. Look forward to that picture. That was really neat. I love the way that looks. So it's kind of fun. You can have some fun making wall hangings. Actually, that reminds me, I have a wall hanging that I'm working on. Remind me later, and I'll show you guys that. That's something I'm working on. It's kind of an unfinished project. It's going to be something for the Etsy shop, and I'm just working on the border for it. It's a wall hanging. Haven't done one of these in a while. I wanted to do something kind of fun for the fall that also made use of all of the techniques we've been learning this year with the Fair Isle style graph work. So I've been working on something off. It's almost done, so I'll give you guys a little sneak peek before it gets finished, but I'll do that a little later. Mr. InStitches, how many votes in the poll? Are we close to?
We are over 100.
Sweet,
so
all right.
I will send it over your way.
Oh, that coffee is so nice. Where should Jayda put the ghosts? Up the sleeve, 65%. Up the back right, 19%. And along the bottom, 15%. Up the sleeve it is. All right, my dears, here we go. All right, so my plan is to make it so that they're kind of mostly running up what would be kind of like the top part of your sleeve. So if you come sort of from the shoulder down, so here's my shoulder, so all the way down. So I'm going to kind of place them running all the way down. I'm going to evenly space them. I think I am going to put one right here on the cuff, covering some of the stitch work, because I think that looks kind of neat. Maybe one right there. Lori Hayes with a membership milestone. Hi, Lori. Lori's been a member for 32 months. Thank you so much. Woo! I'm making wall hangings for Christmas this year, inspired by the folk art blanket. Hey, that's awesome. I love wall hangings. Those are one of my favorite ways to decorate. You can kind of keep switching them out depending on the season or depending on maybe like the upcoming celebration. They are a nice way to cover a little space on a wall, and they fold flat, so they can be put away and they don't take up much space. So this is the little one that I'm trying to decide. Do you sit right over the cuff, under the, maybe right there? pattern in our Etsy shop. Thank you, Sylvia.
I would say slightly closer to that orange band.
Up here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Let's do this. So I'm going to get your little strings out of the way. Oh my goodness gracious. Janine, thank you so much for picking up a pattern in our Etsy shop. Oh, I have a little knot here. Let me get that out of the way. There we go. So that one's done. And I'll get this one separated. There we go. There we go. All right. Here we go. Welcome everybody who's just hanging out. Who was it? Somebody sent me a message at the Etsy shop saying that they saw a bumper sticker that said live, laugh, lurk. I think I need that bumper sticker. Nico! Nico has gifted another membership. Thank you, Nico. And Kristen has won it. Congratulations, Kristen. Ooh, coffee is so good. All right, here I go. I am going to stitch around the outside edge just like I would any other applique project. So I'm picking up, I might even just do every other stitch or skip the odd one if I don't feel I need it, because these stitches are relatively close together. You don't have to do every single one. I'll get most of them. But if there isn't a good spot to kind of anchor the odd stitch, you can skip it. I'm going to try and keep my stitching not too tight. I'm just picking up a loop of a stitch from the cardigan. I am not going all the way through because I don't have to, and that means that I won't accidentally sew all the way through my sleeve. Welcome, welcome everybody. If you've got to run, I totally understand. It is probably a normal Monday for a lot of folks, but here in Canada it's Thanksgiving, so if you've got to roar off and put something in the oven, I totally understand that too. So I like to stop while I'm putting on an applique. I always kind of stop, make sure that it hasn't shifted around on me, and then I keep going. I'm always trying to grab the loop of a stitch that's pretty much directly below the edge of the applique that I'm working on. Crocus says she made pumpkin buttons for her sweater out of clay. I would love to see those. Can you please send me a picture at the Etsy shop? I would love to see that. Kathy is right. There are lots of generous members in this family. This is one of the most supportive, creative, and amusing families, I think, on the internet. I spend hours giggling about some of the stuff that we end up getting into during these live streams. All right, that is nice. So I also like being able to switch to my other hand when I'm doing something like this. I don't feel like this is really difficult sewing, not like sewing with a needle and thread, because everything is a bit bigger. You know, the needle is bigger, the thread is now yarn sized, the loops that I'm going for are nice and big and easy to see. So I don't feel like it is something that I've got to only do with my right hand, which is kind of nice. I probably have way more sewing yarn here than I needed, but that's better. Better to have too much than not enough. Zelina says it's a holiday in the US today too. What's the holiday in the US?
Someone in the chat said it's Columbus Day.
Columbus Day. No kidding.
So the banks are closed in the US.
So it's not
Post
necessarily...
offices and banks.
It's not necessarily a day off. Is that kind of what I'm hearing? If I don't have a stitch available right below, because maybe there's a space there, I might skip a stitch. I don't think that's a big deal. Okay, definitely did not need this much sewing thread left behind, but that's okay.
It's only a partial, like it's only, some people have it.
So it's kind of like a bank holiday. Like
yeah,
what we
it's
have
like
here.
one of the bank holidays. So kids are still in school. Most people are still working.
Yeah, so it's not a real holiday.
It's not
just
a
like,
real holiday.
it's a day of observance.
Like
sort of.
I guess the American Thanksgiving would be more akin to everyone's off.
Yeah, American, like Thanksgiving is an
what about
actual
our
holiday.
Thanksgiving? Is our Thanksgiving everyone's more or less off?
Yes.
Or,
yes.
I mean, unless you're private, business that wants to work, but
I think stuff is generally closed. I think Thanksgiving is considered a statutory holiday. So if you are a business that's supposed to be closed, you'll be fined if you're open. But like, I think pharmacies can be open for a little while.
grocery
because
stores,
people need
pharmacies and grocery stores.
Yeah, no, not grocery stores. I think they're closed.
So it looks like certain states have Indigenous Peoples Day, also known as Columbus Day. And,
Okay.
And in some of the states, for example, Arizona, they have no school. So I guess it depends on the government and the state and the municipality, which is kind of like here.
Yeah, not every
It's
province.
not the whole country doing it.
Not every province here celebrates the same stuff. Like I know Quebec has a lot of their own little things that they sort of celebrate that the rest of the country doesn't, but it often falls on days when the rest of the country is celebrating something. I can't think of anything immediately. Well, if there's anybody from Quebec watching right now, I'm sure you could probably help us out.
We have a super chat.
Super chat, Justine, thank you so much. Oh my gosh. And Maria with 3 patterns from the shop. Thank you, Maria. Justine with a very generous super chat says, "Hi Jayda, can I use different weights of yarn for doily patterns? I would prefer to use fingering weight yarn, but I don't know if I need to change anything about the pattern. Thank you for your help." Doilies are typically a 2-dimensional thing. So they're designed to lie flat, kind of like a blanket pattern. You can use any yarn weight, well, I shouldn't say any. Let's say size 4 medium weight and lower. So a size 3, a size 2, a size 1, and then all the crochet threads. Those can all be used with doily patterns. And you will obviously have to change up the hook you're using to match the yarn you're using. And when you want to pick a hook that matches the yarn, I say that and I mean to get a good tension. You want a nice even tension. You don't want stitches that are too loose. You don't want stitches that are too tight. What will happen though is you don't change the pattern, but it will definitely upsize or downsize depending on the hook and yarn or thread that you use. So for example, if you have a doily pattern and the doily pattern says size 3 crochet thread and a 2mm hook, and you go, okay, sure, but I'm going to use size 4 medium weight cotton, like a 24/7 cotton by Lion Brand. So it's a nice mercerized yarn that's good for making a doily. And I'm going to use a 5mm hook or an H hook. Then you're not going to get a doily that's maybe this big and coaster sized. You're going to get a doily that's closer to, placemat sized or charger plate sized, which is awesome because you don't have to do anything to the pattern. You're just basically changing the hook and the yarn weight. So yeah, you absolutely can do that. Now, if you do want something that's coaster sized and it's calling for a size 3 crochet thread and a 2mm hook, and you want to use size 4 medium weight yarn and a 5mm hook, then you would have to change the pattern. Changing doily patterns is it's not impossible, but it is kind of annoying. Like, you're never going to get the actual look of the pattern. If you remove some rows or add in some rows, it's going to change the look of the pattern. So for example, if the part of the doily you really like is the last couple rows, which makes it all like fancy and star looking or something, then you want to see what the multiple that the doily is based on. So doilies are generally circular and they're generally based on a multiple. So let's say the first number of stitches that go into round 1 are 8 or 12, maybe 6. These are common. 6, 8, 12. Sometimes 16, occasionally 24, but not very often. Well, that tells you that that's the multiple. So row 2, if let's say the base number is 8, row 2 will probably be 16. Row 3 will probably be 24. Or you're working spaces and double crochets, or you're working motifs. It will always be some kind of multiplier that is somewhere based on that original number. So if all of the fancy work is like, you can tell that, oh, well, there's 16 points and it starts with 8 double crochet, then you have to do the math in your head to figure out how many rows you need to remove in order to keep having 16 points around the edge. So if you want to change the pattern so that you can use a different hook and yarn but keep the same size, you have to change the pattern. But if you're not interested in the overall size, you just really want to make that pattern because you think it's pretty, then you can use any hook and yarn you want, and it will change the size, but that's not always a bad thing. So I hope that helps. I'm almost done sewing in ghosty number 1. That's it. I'm going to make a tiny little knot at the edge here, and then I'm going to weave this tail in. Oh my golly, Sheila! Thank you so much, Sheila. Sheila's picked up a pattern at our Etsy shop. Thank you, thank you. We do have a little sale going on right now, 15% off everything in the shop. And that's thank you to everybody, not just our Canadian family, for Thanksgiving. And I'm just going to weave that little tail in underneath some of those stitches, and it disappears, and then trim. Okay. Ghosty number 1 is on. Awesome. Let's have a sip of my coffee. Yes, Sarah, these ghosts do look like the Pac-Man ghosts. And was it our last live stream, guys? The ghosts in the dark? I made the Pac-Man? Where did I put him? I made a Pac-Man because the mister told me I should make a Pac-Man. Oh, it's over here. Hang on, let me grab him. Now, I'm not going to add him to the sweater because I really don't want this to be about video games, but I really feel like that could be kind of cute.
That can be the secret inside applique.
That'll be the secret inside
Yeah.
applique, yeah. All right, I'm going to put on ghosty number 2. So this ghost is leaning in the other direction, and he's in the middle of all that pretty purple. You are welcome, Justine. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to start down here. And off we go. Love the lurkers. Hi, Lulu. I love everybody who's lurking too. I do that. I'll sit and watch a live stream, but I'm usually working on something. My fingers are busy, so I typically am a lurker. That's just a big old space there. So I guess I'm going to skip through a couple of, skip that stitch. That's okay. Now I made sure that I did not sew through the arm because I'm just using the top facing loops of the stitches, so don't have to worry about anything. Linda! Linda has picked up a pattern in our shop. Thank you so much, Linda. And I don't want to speak too soon, but I'm very happy that the little sound effect is working today.
No!
Don't say it out loud.
I know.
It's going to stop working.
I love being able to thank people in real time. It means a lot to me to be able to do that. And someone has taken the time to be so grateful and so supportive and so sweet, and to like send a message or pick up a pattern. I really like being able to say thank you in real time. So when the technology works, it's great. Oh, this is cute. Okay, I think the sleeves was the right suggestion, guys. Good choice.
Definitely having the ghosties on the plain purple looks best, I think.
I think so.
Yeah. Less
Lucy!
cluttered.
Lucy with a membership milestone. Lucy has been a member for 6 months. Thank you, Lucy. I made a bunch of ghosties out of white 24/7 cotton, and I use them as face scrubbies. Oh my gosh! What a cute idea! Little Halloween face scrubbies. How cute to have a bunch of them sort of piled up next to the sink. Oh, Maeve says glow in the dark ghost. That would be kind of neat. I wonder if I've got some glow in the dark. Do I have glow in the dark anything? I don't think so. I actually have lights. Like, I think I have little like lights that you can sort of put into a sweater. I have those. I have not tried them. They sit in a tiny black claw foot bathtub. Oh, that's cute. Oh my gosh, that is so cute. Has anybody tried that glow yarn? There's my 80s kid coming out, glowworm. And while we're on it, did anybody have glowworms in the 80s? Did anybody still have their glowworm? That's maybe the better question. I do not have any of that glow yarn. I have some yarn that's kind of, I have sparkly yarn, I have some reflective yarn. I don't have any of that glow yarn. I don't think I've actually ever seen any of it.
You might have some neon, like vibrantly colored yarn.
I definitely have that.
I'm pretty sure I've seen that around.
Melissa has been a member for 4 months with a milestone. Hi, Melissa. Would love to see some tutorials for dog clothes. You know what? I've made dog clothing. I haven't made any tutorials, but I've made dog clothing. And the reason we haven't done any tutorials yet for dog clothing is because, unlike cats, dogs come in every shape and size imaginable. And I find it tricky to say, you know, I don't want to do a dog sweater, for example, for like a tiny dog that isn't going to fit every tiny dog, and then have all the medium and big dog owners out there going, well, what about my dog? So I've been working on trying to figure out how to make something cute like a sweater for a dog that could easily be changed by the dog mommy or daddy who's doing the crocheting, to figure out how it would best fit their puppy. Because I know that dogs all come in different shapes and sizes. So yeah, absolutely. It's on the radar. It's on our list. We do want to do something like that. Just trying to work out best way to do it. Mary Jean with 3 pattern purchase. Thank you so much, Mary Jean.
It's still working.
It's still working. I didn't jinx it.
No jinxing. Woohoo! Gee, I'm so glad that sound effect is still working.
I do like the idea of doing like a costume piece for our pets since Halloween is coming. I know there's been several requests for that, and I think that would be darn cute. And then you don't have to worry quite as much about sizing for the cute little things like you know, little hats or whatever. So I think something like that might be kind of cute to do. I love stuff like that. That stuff is just so cute. And if you have pets that let you dress them up, then count yourself lucky. Just working my way around the bottom of this guy. I'm trying to make sure that I don't split the yarn when I grab the loop of the stitch.
We need everyone out there that reads written patterns to test our system. Make sure it's working. Make sure that system is working, please.
I see a question here. Unique says, I have not done Fair Isle color work. Do you have a tutorial, Jayda? Everybody, do we have any tutorials on how to do Fair Isle style? That's our entire calendar blanket this year, Unique. So far we've got 10, actually 11 tutorials because we did a live on one. And we will have 2 more to go. So every month of the year, we include a new pattern for our calendar blanket. It's our year-long crochet along. And we've got 11 tutorials on Fair Isle style graph work out so far. 10 of them are videos. One of them was a live stream, which you can still go back and watch. And the live stream one was this one. We did the year because I thought some people might want to actually put the year in their calendar blanket since it's 2023. But we've got a lot, and once you know how to do that, we've got all kinds of patterns in our Etsy shop. We've got 30, I think, in the Etsy shop, and we've got 2 over for free on our website. One of them is the Awareness Ribbon Campaign ribbon. So we did a free pattern for that. So you can make that ribbon any color you want. That's a free pattern and graph over on our website. And I think we included the date as a freebie too over on the website. And that's on the pattern workshop page. And links to our website and our Etsy shop are included in the description box down below. So thanks for asking. And if you want to catch up with the Fair Isle style calendar blanket, or even just work on some of the samplers, then feel free to do so. It's not going anywhere. We always leave our projects up, so you can come back at any time and do one whenever you feel like you've got time or the inclination. All right, that's 2 out of 3. I've got 1 more left to go. This is great. I love this. I like how things end up looking when you finally stitch them on. They look like they're part of the actual crochet. And then this little guy is going to lean the other way, and he's just going to be dipping up into the shoulder area. Thanks to everybody who's popped in and been hanging out. If you've got to run, have a great day. We'll catch you a little later. And to everybody who's just dropped in now, hi, welcome. Just finishing off the Halloween booby Cardi. Oh my gosh, Steve! Hi Steve, Uncle Steve, with a pattern purchase. He's picked up 3. Thank you so much, Uncle Steve. I still have not decided on a costume for this year. I haven't really had a chance to dress up much in the last couple years. The trick-or-treaters have been drying up. I usually like to dress up to sort of meet people at the door, but it's been pretty quiet the last few years. Everybody's growing up and moving out. So if I just hold up, I might be able to do this a little quicker if I'm on a bit of an angle. There we go. Oh my goodness, Nico! Nico has picked up a pattern at the Etsy shop. Thank you, Nico.
Nico is helping us test our system.
Thank you, Nico. So let me think. there anything else that I meant to do? I don't think, oh, the pocket. I might look at, I'm still not sure about the pocket just because it's a big, I have a single granny square left and I was thinking about doing an inside pocket, but I don't want it to be or look bulky. So as soon as I've got this little boo stitched on, we'll take a look at whether or not that will look bulky or not. I'm still, I don't know, not sure. I don't have to use that square. I was kind of hoping I could. Tracy! Thank you, Tracy. Tracy's picked up a pattern at our shop as well.
All systems go.
All systems are go so far. Thank you, guys. I've got lots of spaces that I'm covering here.
I think the ghosts need costumes.
Well,
one can be a cowboy. The other one can be a witch. And the other one can be a ghost. Can you put a ghost sheet on one of the ghosts?
That's very meta. I've got the little ghosty pattern that we made comes with a little bow, because the original ghost tutorial that we did had one of the ghosts has a little hair bow, because I just thought that was so darn cute. So there's like a your typical ghost and then like a little hair bow. So the little bow, I could always put a little bow on it, but I just like the way these little ghosts look, kind of floating up the sleeve like this. Goodness me. Mia!
Woo!
Thank you, Mia! Mia has picked up a pattern in our Etsy shop as well. Thank you so much.
Systems are still functioning.
Systems are still functioning despite...
Jayda did not jinx our sound effects.
despite me opening my mouth. Okay, coming around the bottom here.
Okay, someone just gave me a really good idea. Regina says we need a letter on them. B-O-O.
Oh!
So I like that idea, but wouldn't it be adorable if they were each holding up a sign and it was B-O-O?
Yes, that would be adorable.
Like, come on.
Like little like a little
like little signs.
Like a little protest?
Yeah,
Boo!
like a little protest. Give me a B.
Boo!
Give me an O. Boo. Yeah, it would be a little protest. Boo.
It's a commentary on this entire sweater project.
Are you kidding? Everyone's loving this sweater.
I am loving this sweater.
Everyone is loving it.
I am going to be wearing this sweater, so I certainly hope that I like it.
I'm going to be standing next to you wearing that sweater. I don't know how I feel about that.
The long-suffering crochet husband. Tammy! Thank you, Tammy! Tammy's picked up a pattern too! Okay. One more stitch. That makes 3 little boos. 3 little boos all the way up my sleeve. I'm going to knot this one nice and tight. And then weave that tail in, trim the rest. There we go.
Gifted membership.
Nico! Nico has gifted another membership. Thank you, Nico. Nico! And Regina has won it. Hey, fantastic. Welcome back, Regina. Okay. There we go. 3 little boos. Got some yarn for the stash. Okay, so there's my.
It's gonna need a tag that says the official Booby Cardi.
My spooky sleeve, the official Booby Cardi.
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. So we've got candy corn buttons. We have a little floating bee on the shoulder. We've got ghosts creeping up the sleeve. I really like this. This is so fun. Great idea with the sleeve, everybody. I'm glad that we went with that. And I think that's it. Now, if we were going to do the inside pocket, and this is the leftover square that I had. So rather than cover up any of the pretty squares that I have on the outside, let's see if, let me see, I'm right-handed, so.
How about an inside secret pocket?
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
That's where you put the good candy.
But if I do this, is it going to be, I don't want it to be super obvious. So, would making an upper pocket, so if I covered this one, I would basically just stitch this one in directly behind the middle pocket. So it would basically be an inside breast pocket. Do you guys think...
It's a booby buffer.
It's a booby buffer. Is this obvious? Can you see that square underneath this one? I don't feel like I can. Now, it will make it lopsided. So I will have one larger breast than the other, which when you're this small, that's saying a lot. So it might be better to put it... It might be better to put it down below. Can you see it though if I put it down here behind this one? Let me just make sure that I've got it lined up roughly. Yeah. So is that obvious? Can you see that? This would obviously be like a pocket that I would just slip something like maybe like a credit card. Nothing that would slip out through the holes, obviously, because I don't think I want to go to all the trouble.
I told you that's where the premium candy goes.
Lining it. No, I can't see it.
The high-end stuff.
Pretty invisible.
I can't tell really. I can see a little bit, but
you can see a little bit of it. Yeah, you really can.
I guess if you had a similar, like the exact same colored granny square, you just put it over top of that. You could have the outdoor pockets.
Yeah, the thing is that I don't have any more like this. So I was creating this sweater from an existing pile of scrap grannies that are at least 15 years old.
Understood.
So I was hoping to use them all up.
How about an arm pocket?
An arm pocket, like...
How about a pocket?
Like a sleeve pocket?
A sleeve pocket. That's a bit bizarre.
It is a bit cool. I kind of like that. Sleeve pocket.
The opposite side of the ghosts.
Yeah, down the B arm. Now, if I don't really want to cover up...
It's like cargo pants.
Or do I do it right on the... No, I don't want to interrupt that purple.
I guess we'll have to run a pole for this one, eh? So...
Pardon?
A pole.
A pole, yeah.
Inside hidden, sleeve, which is a little bit unorthodox. Or how about, will that fit on the bee? Can the bee have a pocket?
I feel like...
Can the bee have a very large pocket?
What? Are you trying to confuse me?
Yes.
Okay, stop trying to confuse me.
Cargo Cardi.
So if I put this, see the thing is, if I put this on the sleeve, it becomes very busy. It's heavy. I don't think it's going to work on the sleeve. So if I do a pocket, it's got to be an inside pocket. I feel like it would have to be kind of low because I need it to kind of hold something like. I'm not even sure I would slip my phone into this because my phone might be kind of heavy and I don't want to pull my sweater out of, like I don't want it hanging heavy on one side. So if anything, I'd probably just toss like a money clip in there or like my
Yes.
identity cards or something, because they're not going to slip out.
That makes sense.
And I have to remember that it is going to create a little bit of thickness on the side where there is the pocket.
Well, you don't have to put the pocket.
No, I don't have to.
It's not a must.
I don't have to put in a pocket. I can just leave this sort of one plain. It does look kind of cool though. I feel like if you flap it open and there's like this extra granny square in there because it's operating as a pocket. Decisions.
Well, maybe you should sit on it for a bit. Don't sew it on just yet.
Yeah, you know what? I would probably want to kind of tack or pin
Think
this into
it through
place
first.
and then like put it on, try using it and see if it makes it look bulky.
Because you make a good point about the bulkiness, because it's not thin fabric, right? It's
not
thick.
It's not thin fabric, it's thick crochet. So I really do. I mean, I know this is sort of a silly sweater, but at the end of the day I do want this
silly sweater.
I do want this to be.
This is premium quality.
At the end of the day, I really do want this to be.
This is high-end fashion.
It's a smart Cardi, and I want it to look that way. I don't want it to look, I don't want it to look bulky in the wrong place. Let's say that. I don't want it to look bulky in the wrong place. So you know what, guys? I think I'm gonna sit on this. Is there something I
think
can
you should
do with
literally
this?
sit on it and then see if you get any ideas. I was thinking something like that. Like, can we, twist it and use it as some sort of decor? Let it hang off the back or something funky.
Like a glasses case that matches. I could turn it into a glasses case.
A phone case is too small.
Too small for a phone case, but it's just perfect for a
matching
glasses
case.
That's it. It's going to be a
getting
glasses
a lot
case.
of people saying no pocket here in the chat.
Yep.
So I think everyone agrees.
What do you guys
Not
think?
necessary.
Matching glasses case to go with it? I can pull it out of my purse, and it's my matching glasses case. What do you guys think? Glasses case? And I mean, like your sunglasses or your, I guess, my reading glasses. I think that's kind of cute. Little pocket purse, no pocket. Yeah, I'm thinking like it should somehow be tied into this project. It doesn't have to be attached to this project. If I turn it into a glasses case, then I've got a matching glasses case to go with my sweater, which I think is really cute. Heck, I could even turn it into a little wrist. You can probably hear my brain working. I'm going to turn this into a pocket. It is not going to be a pocket for the sweater. It is going to be like a glasses case pocket or a little wrist. How cute would that be?
I think it's a bit too thick for that. It'd be even thick. It would stick out even more.
Glasses case, here we go.
Glasses case it is. No pull necessary.
No pull necessary. I am going to turn this granny square into a glasses case. All right.
Sure.
So I'm going to single crochet all the way around. I'm going to literally fold it in half, making sure that my edges are neat and tidy. I'm going to join with a single crochet. No, I'm going to join with a slip stitch. So it's a little tighter on the side, and then I'm going to single crochet through each set of stitches. This is how I'm going to seam the whole thing together. And I'm going to make sure that they all match up. And I'm going to work over top of my little tail so I don't have to weave it in.
Wait a second, wouldn't it look cooler if you used the orange?
Yes.
To frame it?
It would.
It would match the sweater's funkiness.
But if I don't use the orange and I use the purple, then I can also get away with this being a glasses case outside of Halloween.
Oh, I see. Versatility.
I do like the purple idea. You know what? I'm going to do this. I got the purple already. Let's go ahead and finish the seam. And I'm going to, that is a stitch and a space. All right, the corner, I'm going to work 3 single crochet into the corner just to turn that corner nicely. And all the way up the side, pairing up the stitches, single crocheting through each set of stitches and each set of spaces. Kind of like when we were doing the granny square Christmas stocking. I love that Christmas stocking. Also, not likely to lose my glasses out of this case because it's smallish, but just big enough that like if you slip your glasses in, it's not going to, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not going to like, it's not going to tumble out. They'll kind of hold it in place. All right, up to the top. So there's my little case. I'm going to go all the way around the top. So I'm going to leave the top open. This is going to be obviously where, so I'm going to turn the corner here, a couple single crochet. I'm going to single crochet around the top. That just finishes it off nicely. Should I use a little button? Nah, won't bother with a button. Project planning on the go. So nothing fancy here. Just a simple granny square folded in half, seamed together along 2 of the 3 edges. And then a little bit of finishing single crochet around the top edge, slip stitch to join, snipperoo. I'll weave that in a second, and there's my reading glasses all tucked in. There we go. So now I've got a little matching like glasses case. I think my sunglasses will fit in there too.
Very nice. Fits perfectly.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Now, I do agree that there should be some orange on this. But I didn't want to, if I use the purple, it isn't as obvious. But if I had to use the orange, it would have been just sort of up the 3 sides. So I think... how
about a miniature bee for the top of that?
Oh, for heaven's sakes. I don't think I've...
and 3 mini ghosts up the side. Like super miniature.
I mean, I love that idea, but I don't think my fingers can handle making anything too super tiny today. Just weaving in the tail. So 1 glasses case, nothing super fancy, but it is a great way to use up that 1 straggling granny square. And to give it a little something, I'll make a pumpkin applique. Why not? Come here, orange. Come here, orange yarn. Orange yarn. Now, the only thing I've not been using throughout this is a whole lot of green. So let me grab some green. Yeah, that'll do.
Someone also suggested a candy corn.
Yeah, or a candy corn. That
pumpkin or candy corn. Gee, I don't know. I like both those ideas.
Do I do a pumpkin
but
or
miniature,
a candy corn?
Right? Like super mini.
Pumpkin. Okay, so this is going to be an applique. So a pumpkin applique or a candy corn applique. What's everybody think? Poll, Mr. InStitches.
Well, we're running a poll.
Got to have my coffee.
While Jayda sips her coffee.
Also, should I have a little wrist strap on this, do you think? Or I should just something I can touch? You know what? I think I'll just make it so I can stuff it in my in my purse. I wonder if I should I make it so that it closes at the top and nothing falls out? I don't know. I kind of like it just being an open little pocket like that. Very simple. Matches my sweater. I can pull it out. Yeah. I think that's cute. I kind of like that. Ah, granny squares. Okay, so we're either going to do a pumpkin or a candy corn.
The votes are coming in thick and fast.
Awesome.
I think all the lurkers dove into this one immediately.
So a pumpkin would be really cute, but I have to agree that candy corns are already in existence on the sweater. So candy corn would match because it's like a little button, but like it's going to be an applique instead of the button, because I think it's just something flat would look really cute in the bottom corner here. But like a little pumpkin would be cute too. But I'm up to do any of it. So whether it's the candy corn or the pumpkin. So we'll get over 100 votes, and whatever it is, I will make an applique.
Let's go, everybody. We got 65 votes so far. Let's get over 100.
So if I better get all my yarn.
All lurkers. Everyone cooking lunch, sewing something, cleaning your house. Get over here and vote, please. Stop doing chores. Get over here and vote.
Make sure I've got my...
It's very important.
Make sure I've got all my proper yarn in case I'm ready for anything. All right. So I've got all the colors required. I've got orange, yellow, purple, green, white. And if it's going to be an applique and a small applique, I might use a smaller hook. So... the 5, maybe the 4.5. Yeah, we'll go with the 4.5. That's a slightly smaller hook. It's a nice size for a little applique for this little area. So let me see. What's everybody saying here? Ribbons.
We're
applique.
getting
a
close
pin.
to 100.
Like a removable applique. Oh, like a little brooch or something. That's cute.
Someone suggested a like a chain so you could hang it off your neck, but then having little ghost appliques down the chain. We're getting into some serious detail work.
Gee,
here.
that's really cute. Yeah, I was thinking like a wristlet. And Anne has picked up 4 patterns from our shop. Thank you so much, Anne. I was thinking like a little wristlet, but I typically don't hang anything off my wrist. So I'm just going to use this as your typical glass case that you can kind of toss in your purse. But I do think like a little applique on it would be really cute, since I've made it kind of to go with this. So I am going to put on an applique. It is going to be permanent, and it's either going to be a little pumpkin or the candy corn. And I would have suggested ghost, except that I don't think I can make the ghost super small without actually going with sizing down my yarn and my hook to the point of it being like jewelry size, and I just don't have the finger power for that today. But I can make a little pumpkin or a little applique version of the candy corn. So those are why I'm kind of going with that. The initials are cute.
Calling all lurkers. We got 99 votes. Put down that broom and vote.
Put down that broom and vote.
Put down that bowl of bagel dough and vote. Or whatever you're doing. Cooking, pasta, what are you doing? Crocheting a blanket, maybe? Hooks down.
Hooks down. I know that phrase. All right.
Okay, here it comes.
I love this. I think this is actually kind of neat. Okay, perfect. So what am I making? Doodly-doo. Pumpkin, 65%. Candy corn, 34%. Pumpkins won. Okay, that's a fun little surprise. Pumpkin it is. Here I go. I am going to use the pumpkin applique that I made for the folk art calendar blanket. So let me just pull up that pattern so I can do it without having to think about it too much. I have all my little pumpkin patterns. Got my computer open next to me here. I know I have that one written down in my book, but I'm not sure which book it's in. So let's see. One second, guys. That'll do.
We have a brand new channel member. Big welcome to Wendy.
Welcome, Wendy. Wendy has joined. Welcome to Merino. Thank you so much, Wendy. And I'm going to make a little pumpkin now. So here we go. I'm going to use the same, this is the same orange I used in the sweater. I'm going to make a cinch circle. Now we have a tutorial for this little pumpkin applique. It's the folk art pumpkin that we did for our folk art calendar blanket, golly gee, all the way back in 2019. So if you want to make one of these, we do have a tutorial for this. We'll link it down below afterwards. Into the cinch circle, I'm going to go single crochet, 4 double crochets, a single crochet, 4 more double crochets. I'm going to pull on that tail a little bit. And cinch it shut. I'm going to join with a slip stitch in that first single crochet I made, which is very tight, but that's good. Okay. So there's my slip stitch. That was row 1. And I'm going to do, let's see here. I'm not chaining. I'm just going to work 2 half double crochets into each of the next 4 double crochets from the previous row. So now I'm just making it a slightly fatter little pumpkin. So 2 half double crochet into each of those next 4 stitches. So that's 2 half double crochet in each of those first 4 stitches. Then I slip stitch into what was the single crochet from the previous row. And then I do 4 half double crochet or 2 half double crochets in each of the next 4 stitches. There we go. And I'm going to slip stitch into the slip stitch from the previous row. I'm going to pull this little loop right through to the back of the pumpkin. And that's just going to keep that kind of like section pulled down. And then I'm going to fasten off on the back of the pumpkin. So I'm going to leave myself a long tail so I can sew it down. There we go. And then I want to create just a little bit of a stem. So I've got a tiny little bit of green here. I'm gonna just join with a slip stitch. Come here. There we go. Put that to the back. Chain 3, and I'm going to slip stitch into the second and third chains. This is just the hint of a little stem, and then back into the same place and fasten off. I think I'll just pull that to the back as well. And I'll fasten off back here. Don't want that getting tangled up. There we go. So there's my little stem. And I'm going to just going to tie these very tightly on the back here and just trim, because there we go. These aren't going to show through. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll just leave them full size, and that'll be a little extra padding for this guy. Okay, and now I'm just going to sew this down on here. So that's my little pumpkin. Get my yarn out of the way. Oh, that's cute. Good idea on the pumpkin, guys. Love it. Super cute. I'm going to bring this up here, and I'm going to sew it right into the bottom corner. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pick up loops on the top facing stitches so that I'm not accidentally sewing through.
We have a super sticker.
A super sticker from I Bring It Every Day. Now that is positive. Thank you very much for the super sticker. I Bring It brings it. I really like that. That is really positive. I think I'm going to sneak. Am I going to sneak a stitch in here? Yeah, I'm going to use this one. We have got a whole lot to be thankful for this year. It is a beautiful day to boot. It's so nice to have an actual beautiful Thanksgiving day. And I'm really glad that we could spend it with you guys. This has been really nice. Got my sweater finished.
We have an extended Thanksgiving holiday live stream going today.
Yes. It is a celebratory holiday live stream. And
Canadian Thanksgiving, so I don't confuse all the Americans watching.
Yes.
Canadian Thanksgiving is, what, a month and a bit?
It's about 5 weeks,
it's
I guess.
Roughly 5 weeks before the American Thanksgiving.
Roughly. I mean, it kind of moves around. Our Thanksgiving's usually like, what is it? Like
we're usually the middle of October.
Is it usually like the second weekend?
Average?
The second weekend of October? I don't know.
Like between the 10th and 14th. Today's the 9th, right?
I have no idea. What is today?
I think today's the 9th. Seems kind of early, actually. Shouldn't it be next weekend? I'm confused.
I know it's usually lines up with like the nice colors of the leaves changing and everything, but
I seem to recall it usually in the middle of the month. But today being the 9th, it's only like a week in.
Yeah, but I think it's like the second weekend. I think like we're
second weekend regardless of day.
Yeah, like
date?
I mean if the weekend I think last weekend October started. So that would have been the first weekend of October technically. So this is the second weekend of October, but the month actually started like in the middle of the weekend. So if the 1st of October falls on a Tuesday and then the first weekend is like 5 days in and then it's the second weekend, that's when it puts it more in the middle. I think that's what's happening.
Second Monday of October regardless.
Yeah. So that's why sometimes it feels really early.
That's why. Okay. So it's the second Monday regardless of the strange calendar system that we have.
Yes, thank you, Shell. So I'm not going to knot this. I'm just going to weave this in. I'm using a really thick, grabby kind of acrylic, so I do not feel the need to make a knot. And I'm just going to weave this tail in underneath some of these stitches.
We have a member milestone from
Leslie with a membership milestone. Leslie's been a member for 24 months. Thank you, Leslie. She says, I vote that we have all 2 Thanksgiving. We all have 2 Thanksgivings a year. I think that's great. There should always be more opportunity.
I agree.
For giving thanks.
I think we should band together and all have Octobers and then Novembers.
Yeah, I think so too.
Sounds good to me.
I like any excuse to be super thankful. Okay, I think that's it. I'm just gonna pull this through these last couple stitches.
Your little pumpkin needs a miniature bee on its shoulder. And some little ghosties going down the side.
You stop.
Wearing witch hats.
Mr. InStitches loves giving me extra work. All right. I think that looks really cute. And now, so if I pull my whole sweater down, now I've got my little glasses case to match my sweater. Oh, I like that. And my glasses case has a little applique on it too. I love it. Okay, so we did cuffs, added the buttons, stitched on the sleeve ghosties, got our little bee up here on the top of my shoulder, keeping an eye on things. And now I used that last granny square and turned it into a glasses case to match my sweater. So I love that. Bonnie's been a member for 44 months. My goodness, thank you, Bonnie. Bonnie, with a membership milestone, says pumpkin for Thanksgiving and fall. And I agree. There's our Thanksgiving pumpkin. So this is pretty great because instead of it being a candy corn, which would make it sort of more Halloween-y, I can get away with this all the way through the whole fall, like Bonnie says.
And if you just flip it to the other side, you can get away with it all year.
Yeah, it's true too. I love pumpkins though. I'm happy to use a pumpkin all the time. So there we go. My gosh, what an amazing project. This was, what was this, this was technically a 7-part series because we made some ghosties live on camera, but the whole sweater making process was a 6-part series. We put together the layout, we figured out how to know how big to make your squares or maybe how many squares you might need depending on the kind of layout you want. We did trim, we talked colors, we did stitching, we joined them together with this really fun cross stitch effect. Decided on buttons, added trim. This has been quite an event. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us through this entire project. I hope if you've ever considered making yourself a granny square cardigan or sweater, that we took some of the scariness out of it, because it's really not that difficult. You can do a lot of fixes and adjustments as you go. That's another reason I like to build things modularly, like with granny squares. And the final result is pretty darn cute. We will take some photographs and put them up on the community tab a little later today, just so you can see how the whole thing looks. I'm probably going to weave in my tails a little later on, since that's kind of boring work. And we all know how to weave in tails, so that's not that big a deal. I did some before we got going live today. I'm quite pleased with my little glasses case. What a neat way to finish off using that pile of granny squares. Yeah, I'm really pleased. This was a lot of fun. We even added a silly little bumblebee to it. Anyway, I think we will leave it there. Mr. InStitches, is there anything you'd like to add before we wrap up today's live stream?
Just remind everyone, we have our little Thanksgiving weekend sale at the Etsy shop, 15% off everything in the shop.
Yes, everything.
And that runs till tonight.
Tonight at midnight Eastern.
Yeah.
And also Etsy in general is doing a little support small business thing. So if you do like shopping on Etsy and you have a lot of different little shops you like to support on Etsy, if you spend $40 or more using promo code YES10, so YES10, in the promo code box, you'll get $10 off your $40 or more purchase. So if you are thinking about doing some shopping on Etsy and you've got some bigger projects or bigger purchases planned, today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, Etsy is offering that. So we made a little post about it in the community tab. So if you want to see what that looks like,
that's
written
not
down.
Every country though.
It's based on if you're in the US, Canada, the UK, and Germany. But we did a post on that earlier. So if you pop over to our community tab, you can sort of see the write up on that if you want some more information. Mm-hmm. Or pop into Etsy. They probably have it splashed all over the front page because they are keen to support small business, and I really appreciate them for that.
I'm thinking there's so much detail on this sweater. I'm thinking maybe we should do a miniature, like a mini video, mini lookbook or something.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Because it's otherwise we have to do a photo album.
Yes, I think that's a good idea.
We'll see. If we have the time, we'll do a miniature video.
Yeah, we'll work on that.
So everyone can really get a good look at it. Otherwise, we'll post in the community tab.
Great idea.
Yeah.
So,
okay, I think that's all I can think of.
That's everything I can think of.
Thanks for everyone
We
joining us.
We will see you guys soon. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for lurking. Thanks for taking part in the polls. Thank you to everybody who's a member, who's become a member, and who's picked up a pattern in our Etsy shop. We really appreciate your support. It does help keep the channel going. We would not be here without your support. It is not an easy thing to run a crochet channel. And we really appreciate it. We are definitely giving thanks to you guys this year on Thanksgiving here in Canada. So thank you all for spending the day with us. We will see you soon. Take care, stay safe, stay crafty, and have a wonderful week. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.